Hey everyone, it's JTECH. So what we have here is a newly released keyboard from Epomaker, and it's another Shadow series. But this time, it's the letter S, just like the Xbox Series X and S, except this is a keyboard. Also, this is much beefier than the previous Shadow-X, so let's see if this one is better. Let's start off by checking what's inside the box. Here we have the manual with different languages. We got a white Type-C cable, a 2-in-1 switch and keycap puller, and some extra switches, and of course the Shadow-S keyboard. Let's go ahead and do a quick stock typing sound test. And there we go. So how's the sound for you? Is it good or what? Please let me know in the comments. I would love to see them. To me, it sounded real smooth and talky and surprisingly good for stock switches. But let's talk about that later on. As we can see, we all know that this is a TKL layout with screen and a knob, which is pretty common to a 75 layout too. It has 2 color variation, and I really like the retroish Super Famicom vibe of this keyboard, and it weighs around 1 kilo fully built. A total of 85 keys, 90 pieces switches, spare included, 1 knob, 2 toggle switches, and 1 Type-C port. The keycap's profile is a cherry, if I'm not mistaken, and it has a thickness of 1.4 millimeters. That's why it's so talkylicious, and it's a PBT material, which is really nice. The switches are made by Epomaker, and it's called Mulan, and I find it very good in terms of sound and feel, but the quality is still a budget level to me. If you're not a fan of talky linears, then you can just choose another one on their website. So the knob looks pretty good and high quality. It is quite small, but hey, it's an aluminum and looks pretty solid. The screen size is a rectangular 1.14 inches, and they called it a smart screen because all the basic information that we need, like the date, time, battery status, and connection modes, are all there. Also, you can customize it by using the dedicated software, which is the Image Custom tool. You can either upload a picture or GIF file or create your own custom image and animations, and it's a pretty cool feature. This keyboard has a 4000 mAh battery capacity, and it's a tri-mode connection, which you can select by moving the connection toggle here. It's a full RGB with south-facing LEDs, and this one right here is another ambient LED indicator, which can be set by pressing function plus page up or page down. RGB lighting can be controlled by pressing function plus backspace to activate and deactivate, and you can find all the shortcuts or functions in the manual. And finally, it's now a VIA compatible. Rejoice to those who are fans of tweaking and key customization using VIA software. I hope you guys are really happy with that feature. First, the layout. Of course, it's now a TKL and not a 70% layout. The knob is now fully rotatable and the screen is not in portrait mode. The battery have been upgraded to 4000 milliamps instead of 3000, and they added this short LED indicator right here. Yes, it's pretty much identical to the GMK87, but the Shadow-S is much aesthetically appealing and the pre-built options looks nicer to me. Before we talk about those good and the bad things with this keyboard, I will first show you how to open this keyboard up and see what's inside. Opening this keyboard is not that easy. I mean, you'll be needing a plastic prior or a card to open it, and make sure you don't force it too much so the locks won't tip off. Here, I just want to show you a little bit of the internal, and yes, it's pretty much standard, especially the acoustics, the foams or dampening materials. It's still a gasket mount, but with just 2 thick foams placed between the PC plate. Unlike the normal gasket which uses a silicone or rubber material in one piece. This one looks interesting. It got very minimal bounce, which I find it okay because I am not a big fan of super bouncy feel when I type and play game. The mods that I will recommend for this keyboard is first, relube or tune the plate mounted stabs to minimize the rattle and ticking, as we all heard during the stock typing sound test, right? Next is a tape mod if you want to make it more poppy, and finally relubing the switches. Even though it's been already factory lube, which to me is all good, but if you still find it a bit scratchy, just go ahead and do that. The acoustics are good enough and I don't plan on experimenting on it. So it is what it is and it's fine by me. So let's now talk about some of the issues that I have encountered during my testing. First, the VIA connection or VIA. You might think it's just a simple plug and play, then you're good to go, but that's not the case here. You still need to update the VIA software or the VIA to the latest version, or you may just use the VIA online from your web browser. With that being said, specific JSON files are needed in order to run this keyboard on VIA. I have no trouble loading it using the USB mode, but for the 2.4 connection, the wireless, I can't seem to make it work no matter how many times I tried. Maybe it's just my system or I really do not know how to make it work. But if you guys manage to fix that, please let me know in the comment. Next issue is the Win and Mac mode. This one is really not a major issue at all, just a very minor one or very minimal. It automatically switching to Mac mode wherever I am using it on a Windows mode. But it's very simple to fix. You just need to move the Windows or Mac toggle and it's good again. Also, the sleep mode is sometimes a bit confusing because usually you just need to press any key to wake the keyboard up, right? But here, you need to press or move the knob in order to wake up the keyboard. And sometimes it's fast and sometimes it's a bit slow. And I am not used to that. Lastly, the LED indicator right here bleeds really bad. But I don't plan on turning that on anyway. So, no big deal. Now, for the good part, the Shadow-S is a major step up from the Shadow-X with the price difference of just $5. It's really nice for typing and productivity because you can use this keyboard on any device with Bluetooth connection and the battery lasts for long hours. It's wireless, so you have the freedom to move it anywhere you like, and everyone nowadays are into wireless setups, right? So yes, I'd recommend this keyboard for productivity and not so for gaming because it can only run on a 500 Hz polling rate, and we all know that it's not fast enough, most especially in Bluetooth mode. It's just a 125 Hz. It is slow, but it saves a lot of battery life. If you plan to buy this keyboard, you can find the links in the description. You can just go and check that out, and that's just about it. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you liked it. I am JTECH. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around. Goodbye.